What's going on, Call of Duty fans, and welcome back to episode 6 of Around the CDL. As always, I got Preston, I got Alex, and this is arguably our biggest episode yet. We got power rankings heading into the major, and then Major 1 predictions, pick'ems, who we think is going to win Major 1. We're going to get into it on this episode, but first off, boys, how are we feeling? Tough weekend for Optic, but other than that, how are we feeling?
Yeah, tough weekend for Optic, so that sucks. But other than that, man, some good COD this past weekend. We now know the seeding heading into the major, got the brackets, so I'm excited. I'm excited for some LAN COD. Wish I was going. Unfortunately, I have to work, but I'm excited to watch. And yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm always excited to talk some COD. So today's gonna be a special day. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, gotta agree. Not the best weekend for Optic, but nonetheless, some great COD. As President said, I'm excited that we're back to LAN. Finally, don't have to watch this online BS. We can, just be on LAN and see how teams really play. It's the first LAN of the season. Can't wait for Miami. I won't be at the Boston one, but I will be at the Miami one. But yeah, just great day for COD, great weekend for COD, great everything.
Absolutely. I mean, we had matches yesterday on Sunday, and then we have matches this week on Thursday. So very quick turnaround. A lot of COD, which is extremely exciting. Let's start off by quickly recapping each day of this past weekend. There was a lot of 3-0s, a lot of weird series. So we can kind of quickly go through these, and then we'll get into the juicy stuff. Real quick, we talk about Minnesota Rocker on Friday. They 3-0'd LA Gorillas. Rocker, man, we all picked Gorillas in that series, and they look kind of different on a 3-game win streak.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't know what got into them. I don't know if they just got a real good week of practice in before, matches started on Friday, but they look, like how you said, we all picked LAG to win, but they came out and just straight up smoked them. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, Rocker looked kind of nasty right now. Like, they look like a real dark horse team to possibly make a run at the major. Because I mean, they won against LAG 3-0, and then they beat Surge 3-2. So I mean, they're looking kind of nasty. I don't know. They're a dark horse team for surely.
Yeah, Linz looks unbelievable, and Vivid had a really good weekend. So. That's clearly their recipe for success. You got to set your subs up to succeed. That's typically how Lamar's teams work. You set your subs up for success and you play well. That's always how it's been. So maybe they found a way. Maybe they found their rhythm. But they look good. I was giving them a lot of flack for how they've been playing, but they're looking pretty good heading into the major. They're getting hot at the right time.
Yeah, because anytime you want to be hot, it's right before the major. Then we could slide on down. Miami 3-0's Optic. Rough weekend for the boys in green. Miami, though, 6-0 on the weekend. They didn't drop a map all weekend. So, two different sides of the coin there.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you kind of expected from Miami. And I mean, the week prior to that, they didn't play so well. We start off 0-3 and then go 0-2 the next week. And then this week they're back to going 2-0. I mean, I just feel like that's what you kind of expect from like that Miami Heretics team. Like they're really you just don't know what to expect from them. And I think that's just, like as we saw, they came out really hot, go 0-2, and then they came out really hot again. But yeah, I mean, tough luck for the boys. I know we started off that HP kind of going in our favor, and then after that, it just completely 180'd, and we just couldn't buy a map this weekend. No excuses. Not our guns didn't come out hot. None of that anymore. But yeah, I mean, just got to give it to Miami. Meadows came out, played absolutely amazing. He was absolutely that guy that series.
He was great against
he came out and just showed out, and it is what it is. You're not gonna win all of them, but yeah. Tough luck for the boys.
I mean, the pace those guys play at is insane. The pace those guys on Miami play at, it's remarkable. They just fly. They literally just fly. And the fact that their comms are as clean and precise as they are, I have no idea what they're saying, but the fact that they're as clean, as precise as they are at the pace they're playing, it's very impressive. Their teamwork is godlike. And if there is some consistency with this team throughout the year, they're going to be very good. I just hope it's not like a hot and cold thing where, they win 3 in a row, lose 2, win 2, lose 2 throughout the year. I hope they can actually be consistent because that's obviously not only good for Miami, but good for the league. So kudos to them. They looked unbelievable this weekend. And obviously Optic struggled. I mean, that's God. You're going to have some bad weekends. Not losing a map or not winning a map is obviously not ideal. You'd like at least a couple map wins, but you know what? Bad weekends happen, and just turn around for the major. It's not okay to lose online COD, but if there's going to be COD to lose, it's online. You'd rather win at the major. So,
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, not to give excuses for Optic, but they lost to FaZe and Heretics. You know what I mean? It's not like they lost to Legion or Ravens or like any of these really bad teams. Like they lost to other teams that are in that top tier with them. So still not an excuse. I mean, they didn't win a map, which is really not good. But at the end of the day, it could have been losing 2 worse teams, which would have been way worse. Let's talk about Ultra.
They threw away 2 maps. No. I was just gonna say they threw away 2 maps, which sucks even more because they had both map ones in their hand and they just kind of let it fall away. But they gotta find a way to win more maps. That's all I was gonna say.
Yeah. We could talk about Ultra real quick. Obviously, 3-0ing New York. Preston, you were the only one to say Ultra was going to win that series. None of us expected it to be a 3-0. I mean, this was like... It was dominant. I mean, they first 100-point club of the year, and then 6-1, 3-1 in S&D and Control. Like, holy crap.
They slammed them, honestly. Like, I'm not even going to lie to you. Like, again, me and Jake picked New York to win. Preston was the only one to pick Toronto, but even that, none of us expected a 3-0. I think we all had it go into Game 5 for both series, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's just crazy to me. They slammed them. Like I said, first 100-point club, and then after that, the Search and the Control weren't close either.
I picked Ultra to win, but I picked a close Game 5 banger of a series, and it did not look like New York was shooting back the entire time. Ultra just mega fried. It was a very, very fast series. None of the maps were particularly close. It was like a Optic versus Carolina, Toronto versus Carolina 2.0. But the thing is, you never expect NYSL to be a team that's, first of all, they don't lose much. And when they do lose, it's not like that. They got slammed. But, it's, like I said, it's COD. It's day to day. Sometimes you come out and it's not your day. Toronto is clearly playing well. They're starting to hit their stride. Envoy's playing much better.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, they look scary, so obviously they get their flowers. But, like I said, it's COD. Some days you have it, some days you don't.
Yeah, man. That's part of the esport we love.
That's it.
Moving on into Saturday, we kind of talked about some of this stuff. One thing, though, the Las Vegas Legion, not only did they take a map off of the Toronto Ultra, but it was their first Control win of the year. So, are things looking up for Legion? I don't know if I necessarily put it that way, but at least they've proved they can get a win in each game mode.
Yeah, I think just like the series, I honestly think the maps were like kind of close, except for that last one. Like the first sub base was 250 to 217. Search and Destroy was 63. High Rise, they lost 2-3, and then they ended up winning 250 to 158 in Invasion. Honestly, I think Toronto just took the series. I was like, I don't care. Like they knew they were going to beat them. But honestly, like even when Vegas played Optic and they won, the first 2 maps, like you can tell if Legion put it together, they can be a really good team. I just think they haven't reached that point yet where they can consistently play really well. But I mean, when they do, I mean, you clearly see they beat Optic 2 maps. They got a map off of Ultra, and I think once they fully put it together, like they may be a scary team, honestly. But yeah, I mean, not much to say from that one. Like we all kind of expected Ultra to win that, but props to Vegas for getting their first Control win.
It's a positive, I'd say. It's not. I wouldn't say Legion are on the up. They still lost that series and they lost that map 4 comfortably. But to win your first control is definitely good. That means you've made some adjustments here, fine tuning some things. You're on the right track there. And like Alex said, the hard points that they play are typically close. A lot of their hard points are one hill hard points, which are mistakes here and there made on the map that obviously need cleaned up. So maybe Attach can get the boys together, figure out what's going wrong, just ice up. I don't know if it's a calm things. Maybe they get frantic, or I don't know what it is, but they're not really getting slammed that often. They're keeping maps close. A lot of their series have been like 3-0s, 3-1s, but the maps are close. They just got to find a way to start winning out those series, winning those grit maps here and there, and we'll start seeing them win some more series. I'm not counting them out yet. I've seen some promise of glimpse of hope here and there, but I mean, I think they're 12th seed, right? Aren't they last seed? So, yeah.
Yeah, I hopefully they figure it out. I've been saying all year, I think they're a team that I really believe in a bit. Maybe they're a roster move away. I know the guys on the flank were talking about they've replaced Purge with somebody who's maybe a bit better in respawn. This team could be better. But we'll talk about that more after the major. Let's talk about the Ravens though. The Ravens went up against FaZe and LAT in back-to-back series. Well, end of Saturday, beginning of Sunday. And they went to Game 5 in both. They obviously didn't win either of those series. But going to Game 5 versus FaZe is honestly an accomplishment in and of itself. And this is a new team with Fellow, obviously. No more God RX. What were your takeaways from this weekend for the Ravens?
Yeah, I think yes, they went to Game 5, but I think one of those Game 5s is a lot different than the other. With the FaZe one, I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone expected them to lose 3-0. But I mean, they stuck it out there with him. Like how I think Clay genuinely won the maps himself. I'm pretty sure that like 4th hardpoint he went like 30 something, and like 20 he had like the most amount of kills and the most amount of damage. So he was like forcing that like the team to win. Just put the team on his back. But yeah, I mean, great series out of them. Shows that if they really put it on, if they really put it together, they can hang with teams. Yes, they still lost, but it was a good showing to me for that FaZe series. The Thieves series was a little different. People are going to say they got iced with that whole, LA Thieves taking, I don't know, who knows how long to get their PCs started up. But I mean, they won. They went up. No.
They won map 1.
Yeah, they won map 1, and then it froze during S&D, right?
Yeah, right after the second round.
And ever since then, I mean, they lost that S&D. I mean, I think they won. They
won map 4.
Yeah, they won map
4. Okay. And they won map 4 pretty comfortably. It was 250 to 176. But they're gonna have those series. I think Thieves just played a little bit better. I mean, Clay had a 2 No, he didn't. I lied. That's just for map 4. He had a 1.06, but Quinn played really well versus Thieves as well. I don't know. It's a little weird to me. They take FaZe to Game 5, but then they lose to Thieves Game 5. But again, a huge factor could be because they did get ice and they had that really long delay. Takes you off your grind. But yeah, props to Ravens for doing some work, making some adjustments. Yeah.
Here's the thing that sucks, right? And this is I think I tweeted something similar to this. Yes, they look better. Fellow clearly opens the map for Clay more to do his thing. Clay looks infinitely more comfortable. Two things that I noticed. Hopefully Fellow gets more and more comfortable and will actually start playing better, because he did open the map for Clay a lot, but he didn't really play the greatest. And if they're looking for a long-term answer, he has to play better. I'm not expecting him to go out there and put up superstar stats, but I need more than a 0.8. I need like a 0.9, 0.95, get more kills on an average life. He was like their weakest slayer by far. Another thing that I'll say, and this sucks, is both of those series were very winnable for them. They probably should have beat FaZe, and they definitely should have beat LAT. Losing 2-3-5 sucks to LAT, right? Those are like Neslo. I'm okay. They're yeah. Your hard points look good, but the FaZe stings because they kind of threw away that schedule a little bit. And it stings because Gwyn finally had a bad series. That was a rough series for Gwyn, and you got to think if he just plays a little bit better, they probably win that series. But like I said, the positive, which is a massive positive, and we talked about it last episode, is you need Clay to start playing better, and he did by far. I mean, he played incredible this past weekend. So maybe Fellow right now is a good fit just to open Clay up. Like I said, he's got to play a little bit better as well, but I'm giving him a ton of benefits of the doubt because it's his first week in the team and he got thrown into an absolutely horrible situation and practically made the most out of it. I mean, 2 Game 5s in your first week is pretty good with how bad that team has looked. So shout out to those guys. They look better. Clay seems to be in very high spirits. We all know how big of a competitor Clay is. I know he wants one of those series back, at least one, if not both. But teams in high spirits going into Major 1, and maybe they'll make a loser run. Who knows? Maybe they'll put some magic down in the loser bracket.
Yeah, they brought in a guy like Fellow who has competed well on LAN in the past, right? Maybe they are poised for a bit of a loser's bracket run. So it's nice to see them on the up a little bit, right? They're just definitely a little bit better. On the note of the Thieves, I mean, the series went exactly kind of how we said it was going to go. We basically said Gwyn was going to be the best guy on the map every single map, and the Thieves just had to be a bit better than the other 3, and that's literally exactly what happened. I'm just glad to see the Thieves win. Obviously, it's not, you're beating the worst team in the league, basically, and we're horrible at hardpoint. But hey, man, I'm going to take the 10 points because we're going to need those if we want to qualify for champs. And shout out Cammy. He finally had a good series.
Yeah,
so,
shout out Cammy.
Thank God.
After your tweet.
Yeah, after my tweet.
Yeah,
are you kidding me? Guy gets slammed map 1, and I'm like, you know what? This guy's done. Stop giving this man chances. And then he absolutely goes off the next 4 maps. It's unbelievable. So I'm sorry, Cammy. Shout out that guy.
Yeah, facts.
He definitely saw your tweet. He was like,
he did. Dude, during the break, they didn't do anything for an hour, probably.
Yeah.
So
he literally looked so lost, map 1 sub base, and then he's like, you know what? All right, fine. I'll just take over. I'll do whatever I want next 4 maps, and he did. Whatever. He looked incredible. Yeah, he did.
Out of him.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, let's move on to NYSL Boston Breach, the series that nearly went the way of Boston, almost exactly how Preston predicted it. The Priesta had a couple of revenge maps here and there. He looked pretty good. I mean, it ended up going 79-79, so a 1.0. I mean, they were one less Snoopy falling off the map away from maybe winning that series. So
no, that literally came down to the last. Well, not the last round.
It was round 10, but yeah, essentially.
Yeah, it was round 10, but
Capsule, man, holy shit, he almost did it, bro. He almost did it.
Who is top heli?
All I know is Hydra was the last guy. That's all
I know is he snapped on whoever was top heli, and I was like, he's gonna do this. He goes and kills whoever's off bomb, but he just had too little health and of course he also didn't have the information of where the last person was. So but you still got to give him props. I generally think if Snoopy doesn't fall off the map that round, it goes to round 11. Given maybe Subliners still win that map, but it makes it a lot more competitive. But yeah, shout out to Cap for that last ditch effort to try and win them the map. I mean, Boston played really well. Can't knock them. They won the first HP. They won the control. They just couldn't clutch up in the round 5 S&D or game 5 S&D. So. But I mean, they almost did it.
It's a closer 2-5 than it looks like on paper. There's a famous expression, expression that I wait. Am I saying that right?
Expression, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Why'd that sound weird? There's a famous expression for people that golf. I golf. And it goes like, there's no pictures on the scorecard. It doesn't matter how you get it done. It's just how you get it done. Well, they're not getting it done, but they're getting close almost every single time. The thing that concerns me is they don't look great in S&D right now. Their S&D needs a lot of work. And if you're going to win these gritty series versus these top teams, your S&D has to be good. It has to be good. You can't lose 2 Game 5s to New York, or you can't lose 2 S&Ds to New York and expect. I mean, obviously, if you lose a Game 5, it's over. But I'm saying, like, you can't lose 2 S&Ds to these top teams and expect to win the series. And you're not going to take 3 respawns off of these teams. I mean, you might, but it's going to be very hard to consistently take 3 respawns off of these good teams in the league. What I will say is they look very promising. Cap and Snoopy look really good. And people are like, oh, Stairglitch cheese. Okay, sure. Yeah, Stairglitch, whatever. I don't really care. I don't really think it makes a difference in that.
It was like right at the end, too. So.
Yeah, I don't really think it makes a difference in that round, to be honest. And they lost the series anyway, so whoop-de-doo, who cares? But they can make a run. I know they're in losers, and it sucks, but I'm pretty sure, based on seeding, they play the loser of...
they play the loser of Seattle and Toronto.
Yes. Okay, so, I mean, more than likely, that's Seattle. They could beat Seattle. And they could start a losers run beating Seattle.
They did lose to Seattle this year already, though, just for the record. They lost 3-1, I believe.
Online's different than LAN.
Of course.
Slasher loves his LAN. And I mean, Snoopy's first year match last year at Champs was LAN, and he looked unbelievable. So, I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see. But I did, unfortunately, just fall short of my prediction. I almost nailed it. You
were close.
You did.
Preston did play really good. He always plays good in the revenge match. I thought he was going to do it for a sec, but in NYSL, Sib is just so good, man. He is so good. So good. I was like, you know what? Maybe Priest will show them that they made a mistake. And it sucks because genuinely anybody else versus Sib, it looks like they made the wrong choice. But right now it's hard to argue that they made the wrong choice. Even though Preston hasn't played bad at all, Sib just looks unbelievable. He looks unbelievable.
Yeah, Sib's been that guy. I also do want to say this Boston team should be good at SND. And when they figure it out, I think we're going to see them in a Sunday or two. I mean, Capsule and Snoopy both have over 1.2s in SND right now, whereas Priest and Slasher have 0.8s. And Slasher's historically a good SND player, and Priest is not a bad SND player by any means. So when they figure it out in Surge, I really think we're going to see this team making runs at some events, especially if they can make like winners bracket. But they just haven't done it yet. I don't know what the problem is with this game and Slasher and Priest not getting it done, but I have faith they'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, as Preston said, they're not going to beat the top tier teams without winning an S&D, and as they always say, S&D wins championships, so you need to win those S&Ds.
Mm-hmm. All right, last series to talk about before we hop into power rankings. FaZe 3-0 at Optic. I was the only one to pick FaZe on this podcast. Surprise, surprise. I did not expect it to be a 3-0 at all, honestly.
I did. I said 3-0.
Yeah, you did. You did, the other way. But I mean, we already touched on Optic, but if there's anything else you guys want to add about this series specifically, the floor is yours.
I mean, as you guys say, Optic fans, chill out. We get it. It's not how Preston said. It's not ideal to go 0-6 and not get a map. But chill out. It's the first, the first qualifying matches. We're about to go into our first major. We still have a whole season to go. I need y'all to relax a little bit. The team will figure it out. They always will. Just give them some leeway, okay? Like, y'all need to chill out. Y'all are coming at people. Y'all are coming at Preston crazy. Y'all are coming at me crazy. Like, just like chill out a little bit, okay? Like, we get it. We're all frustrated. We all want the team to succeed. They'll get it sooner or later. there's no point in just like worrying so much over online matches at the beginning of the season when we have a whole season to go. Champs is a whole, who knows, 4, 6, 5 months away. Like, we have time. We just need to relax. The boys will get us together. And yeah, just chill. Words to Aaron Rodgers, or to Aaron Rodgers, relax. All you have to do is relax.
I just have this weird hope in the back of my mind that they're going to be really good on LAN, man. I do. I have this weird, like, obviously it's because I'm a fan. And I obviously want them to play the best they can all the time. But Kenny is notably way better on LAN, and he's looked good online this past year. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind he's looked good. A lot of people call him the best player on the team right now, myself included. But he's notably better on LAN, and Pred has been notoriously good on LAN. So maybe these guys are just gonna put it together on LAN, and we'll see. Maybe they need a tournament under their belt to get some chem flowing a little bit. But just chill. If they get double bounced and get double first rounded, go 0-6, 1-6, 2-6 map count here. Okay, yeah, call them dog shit, whatever, right? That's not acceptable for a team of that caliber. Fine. But it's online COD. They had a bad weekend of online COD. They still made winner's bracket comfortably, right? They clinched it. Like, after week 2, they clinched winner's bracket. So just chill. Just literally chill. Just take a breath and let the team figure it out. And do not go tell them what the hell they need to do. They'll figure it out. They will figure it out.
They got to get off ranked and get back to scrimmage.
I lost my mind this morning seeing that.
Because they did the same thing to Dashy. They were like, you need to get off Valorant. Stop playing Valorant and get to grinding. And he came out, he was like, outside of Draza, I was probably the one that was playing the like MW2 the most. So, I mean, another thing, I don't know if it's just because we have Kenny now, but I feel like we're this year's LA Thieves team. Because, you know, LA Thieves last year, or the past 2 years, were notoriously mid online, but when they got to LAN, they were probably one of the best teams. So, like how we said, we just need to give the boys some grace. I get it, you know, it sucks losing to FaZe 03, it sucks losing to Heretics 03, but just chill. Like, we're gonna get it settled. You know, if we see improvements not going as the season goes on, then, you know, we can start having that conversation. But as of right now, just chill. Like, we just need to relax. It's okay.
Exactly. You kind of touched on what I wanted to say was Kenny's teams historically have gotten better as the season progresses. We saw it with these. Everyone was saying blow it up in Vanguard, and we saw what ended up happening. We saw it with TK. Like, his teams get better as the year goes on, and that just might be the type of guy and the culture Kenny can bring to a team. It'd be great if they were good off the or amazing off the start, but it's Major 1. We've only seen online. I know I'm not the Optic fan on the podcast, but even I'm thinking some of these people got to chill out on Twitter because they're looking into this way. You have so much talent. This is arguably the most talented team Kenny's probably ever played with. And he's already won a ring. He's already got, 8 championships? Like, give him time. Give him time, and they're going to sort it out.
Yeah, we're talking like they're 2-5. They're 4-3 and clinched the 5 seed. Okay,
and all 3 of their L's came against top 4, top 5 teams.
Exactly. They haven't beaten a top 5 team. Okay, that's the one thing you could say that I would agree with. Whatever, sure. But they are 4-3. They have a positive win-loss ratio. And we're going into the major. Shut the hell up and let the guys play. Seriously. And get off of my sack. I'm going to defend the team whether they look good or not. Hop off of my sack.
Yeah, I like y'all got to remember, we're Optic fans too. So we're just as upset as y'all. We just don't lash out on Twitter like how y'all do.
Because, I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, I'm so thankful they lost today. No, I'm going to go and I'm going to say, you know what? Get them next time and it'll be all right. Show support for the team that you quote-unquote support. Because if you're not going to support them at their lowest, don't support them at their highest.
Again, none of us are pros. We have no idea what goes on in practices, behind the scenes. They know what they're doing. They're in the league for a reason. They're at the top of their game for a reason. They're at the tippity top. We don't. You know, as much as we want to say, like, they need to make a change, this player needs to get dropped, that player needs to get dropped. They know what they're doing. I'm putting my faith in that process, and I always will. And again, I'm an Optic fan, so yes, I was upset, but I'm not going to go on Twitter and straight bash the team saying, okay, you need to drop him, do this, and that. That's not my place. I'm just a fan. Half the time, I don't even know what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to go out there and talk on my ass just because they lost 0-6 this weekend. Like, it's okay, guys. We just got to relax. I promise y'all, we're going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Preach, boys. All right, let's talk about power rankings. Let me swap my cam over for the viewers to see our lovely rankings. I have the rankings up from the last time we did this. This was after week 2, right? I believe we did the power rankings. I can read it for you guys since you can't see my screen. FaZe NYSL, Optic Ultra, Miami Surge, Boston LAG, LAT, Legion, Ravens, Rocker. Rocker in 12th, by the way. It's going to be interesting to see where we have them now. So I'm going to reset this maybe. No, it's not going to let me reset it. Okay. Let's just start from the bottom. 12 and 11. Who do we got at the bottom of this table?
Okay. 12 for me is Vegas. 11 is Ravens. That's my 12 and 11.
Ditto. Yep.
Okay. All right. I personally think I have Ravens at 12, and Legion at 11, but I mean, it's basically the same and majority wins. So Legion 12, Ravens 11. I guess the new look Ravens are a bit better, so I think that makes sense. Anything else if you want to add, feel free. But if not, we can move into 10 and 9.
I mean, to me, like, Vegas took Optic to a Game 5, sure, but I think the Carolina Game 5 versus FaZe is far more impressive to me.
That's fair.
And since that Vegas Game 5 versus Optic, they've shown me absolutely nothing. So I'll take Carolina in their current state versus Vegas in their current state. But I mean, this is like the toilet bowl. So no one wants to battle for 11 and 12.
All right, 10 and 9. I'll start it off. I got both LA teams here. I got LA Thieves at 10, LAG at 9.
I kind of actually, this might be a hot take, but
say it, do it. Come on, Preston, say it.
I got LAT Surge. Surge do not impress me at all. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. They started off the year so good, and I'm so stupid for buying into the hype. I don't think this team goes anywhere. I don't think they do anything. I'm off the Surge train. And I'm off before Major 1. I just don't see it. I don't see the slaying power. We thought Illy was back. He's still probably their best player, but he's not the Illy we saw week 1, which we knew would happen, but he fell off hard. And they're just lacking. I don't know if it's slaying or what. They're just missing something. And I don't know if they'll probably make a team change, and maybe one player team change is all they need. But they're missing something. I
love breaking those GAs in.
I was gonna say that.
I actually almost think if they took Linz and Abusa together and maybe just get like rid of RCs or something, they're dangerous. But to me, LAG looked bad this week. They looked bad. But I still think teamwork wise, they're a better team than Surge. That's my hot take. Obviously, you say you go with majority, but I would take LAG over Surge right now.
Okay.
Damn,
I agree. Right. I do have Thieves at 10. I don't know. I want to put Rocker at 9 because yes, given they just went on a 3-0 streak. They beat Surge. They beat who else? They beat Gorillas. But I don't know. It's like Rockers is one of those teams to me that, again, it really depends on how Vivid and Awakening play. Like, as we said, Vivid played amazing this weekend. But if Vivid doesn't play like that and keep up that level of consistency, I don't see Rocker winning. I don't know. I definitely have Thieves at 10.
Yeah. Okay, so we're agreeing Thieves at 10.
Yeah.
Yes. So I mean, 9 is, I guess, between Gorillas, Seattle, Rocker, Boston.
What's their record? Whoever has the worst record between the 3.
Minnesota is 14-14. Surge is 13-16. LAG is 9-16. Okay. And Boston is 12-16.
Well, then I guess we could put LAG at 9. I'm okay with that. Like I said, I think Surge at 9 is a hot take. So LAG at 9 for fine is okay. That's fine with me.
All right. So we got the LA teams at 9 and 10, comfortably sitting next to each other on this tier list. Then we come into 8, 8 and 7. At this point, like we're talking about, it's between Surge, Boston, and Rocker. I'm guessing Preston wants Surge at 8, probably.
Yeah.
But Alex, what do you think for 8?
I'm down with that. I'm down.
You're down with Surge at 8?
Yeah, I'm down with Surge at 8. I mean, again, they haven't. I picked Illy to win comeback player of the year. He's been, other than like the first 2 series, he's been pretty okay. But yeah, I mean, they just really haven't shown me anything. And again, I don't see them getting any better. One, because I mean, they've already broken who knows how many GAs, and with the way the pros have the GA, like I don't know what you would call it, like the GA like punishments, quote unquote. I mean, they're on like their third GA, and I think Ghosty was the one that said once you get to like the third one, there's like a whole month without scrims.
Damn.
So how true that is, I have no idea. Don't quote me. That's what Ghosty said. That's what everyone's saying. So I'm gonna go with that. But if you get a month without scrims, you're not gonna get any better. I don't care if you play even like the top AM teams, FaZe Black, Houston Spartans, Carnival Gaming, whatever it is, like you're not going to get better. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with putting Surge at 8.
I agree. I think Surge at 8 is definitely fair. I think 7 is the hardest for me because it's between Boston Rocker, right? Rocker, the thing for me is Rocker have a better record. They definitely look really strong in current form. But Boston, I feel like, has more potential, probably more consistency, and have shown it versus top teams. So it's really, I'm struggling to pick who I would have at 7 and who would I have at 6. Because also, that's a high jump for Rocker. I mean, they were at 12, then they moved up to like maybe top 10, and now we're going to have them at 6. Like, that seems kind of insane. But then again, they are like, what, 13 map count, 14 map count, something like that. So that is kind of good.
14,
that is kind of good, to be fair.
I think I would put Minnesota at 7. And I know that they have the better record. They clinched a winner spot over Boston. I'm going to give Boston a little more benefit of the doubt because they clearly had the harder strength of schedule to split. And prior to these past 3 matches, Minnesota showed absolutely nothing. I will give them all the credit in the world. They won 3 very important matchups in a row for them. They look good heading into the major. We talked about them getting hot at the right time. I just think Boston has maybe showed a little more consistent potential than Minnesota has, and Minnesota's 3 wins are over who? Carolina, Seattle, and LAG.
LAG.
Yeah, where Boston has beat a Toronto, taken NYSL to a game 5. So I think just for consistency reasons, I'll put Minnesota at 7, and then I'll just default Boston at 6.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because I mean, even given it was, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so their first match against against the Legion, they lost 3-2. Then they lost to Optic 3-1. They lost to Miami 3-1. They lost to the New York 3-1. Then they beat Carolina, who we have at 11, 3-0. They beat LAG, who we have at what?
9.
9.
Yeah.
And then they beat Surge, who haven't really impressed me in the past few matches. Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with that, having them at 7 and then having Boston at 6. Because again, Boston, yes, they have a worse record, but they've beat Toronto, who just molly-up subliners, and then they took subliners to game 5. So I'm cool with putting them there.
All right, that definitely sounds good. I think it could be either way. I would have been cool with whatever personally. All right, but then we get into our top 5. I'll let you guys start. Who do you have at number 5?
I mean, listen, whatever. Get all the jokes out of the way. I don't give a shit anymore. It's only fair to put Optic at 5. I mean, they did not win a map this past weekend, and they got beat by 2 teams that are ahead of them. So it would be completely biased and incorrect if I put them any higher than 5. I love them, and I think they could be the best, but it's only right. They have to be 5.
Yeah, I agree. Just like how we placed them behind New York, I think, in our first power rankings because they lost to New York. I mean, they lost to Miami and FaZe, so it's only right that we put them at 5. I mean, yeah, can't really say much. I mean, they lost to those 2 teams, and those 2 teams right now have more points than us, have a better win to loss ratio, so it's only right.
Yeah, no, I'm with you guys. I mean, you said it exactly. I mean, they just got 3-0'd by Heretics, so I don't see how you could put Optic over them. Maybe if it was later in the season and Optic was like 10-5 and Heretics were 7-6 or something, and they lost, maybe you could still make the argument. But at this point in the season, I agree. Then we get into top 4. I'm going to assume we probably all have the same top 4, but for the sake of it, I'll start. I have Miami 4. How about you guys?
I also have Miami 4.
Yeah, I bet you we have the same top 4.
Yeah, I'm guessing we have FaZe, Ultra, New York, Miami in that order.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that's much of a surprise. I mean, I think that's exactly how the standings are currently as well. FaZe are 7-0, Ultra and NYSL are 6-1, and Ultra just beat NYSL. I think it's all pretty straightforward.
Yeah. No, Toronto looks insane.
They do. They really do.
They look like the only team that can beat FaZe right now, truthfully. So that's an easy 2 to me. And NYSL, they didn't look great. I mean, I called the Toronto loss, and I almost called the Boston loss. So I knew they would probably fall off of their high horse a little bit there. They were like on like a insane like 12 series win from like last year to this year or something, which is crazy. Shout out to those guys. Crazy consistent. Caesar's Skies has a great system in place up there. But all good things come to an end. If you guys think FaZe is staying undefeated the whole year, you're absolutely crazy.
I have someone who comments on my YouTube video and says he could see them not losing one map or one series all year.
You're on crack, bud.
You're on crack. Listen, they're insane, and I'll be the first person to admit that they look crazy right now. They're the clear number 1 seed, but they're gonna lose a series. If I would do unspeakable things if they went undefeated the entire year, won every single series.
All right, top most liked comment on this video, Preston has to do if FaZe don't lose a series.
Deal, I'm in because it's gonna happen. It might happen at the major, it might not. It might happen major to I don't care when it happens. But
like they're gonna fuck around and lose to like Las Vegas one of these days. Honestly,
Cold War FaZe started off like 11-0 or something, and their first loss was to LAG, who was like the worst team in the league. So it happens.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
but yeah, these teams all look great. Honestly, I low-key think Ultra might look like the most dominant team in current form. Obviously, FaZe are undefeated and they're great, but this Ultra team, they look diffy sometimes, man. After that 3-0 from Boston after the break, they look so good. Before the Optic series, I was saying in my watch party that I think I'd have Ultra winning the major if Optic beats FaZe, but then FaZe beat Optic. So we'll get to the predictions, but I think those are clear top 2.
I think you just needed Envoy back, right? We kind of knew what they wanted to do in the offseason. There was no reason really for them to get rid of Hixie, and Envoy was available, right? That LAT team blew up, and as the recent saying has gone, you always pack a punch. So they did that. It didn't look like a good move the first 3 weeks, and now we got the deal back that we knew was always there. And they look crazy. They speed ran NYSL, speed ran, and they look like the only competition for FaZe right now. Truly, nobody else.
Dill was my MVP last week. I'm pretty sure. Just because I mean, like how you said, he came out. He was really underwhelming, and then came back after the break and was just absolutely slamming everyone. So he's been my MVP, or he was my MVP for last week.
Yeah. Shout out Dill, man.
Major shout out. He's been amazing.
Oh, also, if you're an Optic fan or Thieves fan and you're hating on Dill,
dude, I saw that.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
I haven't seen anyone hate on Dill. But if you are, you're weird because Dill is a great guy. He's very genuine. I'm pretty sure I met him at I think I met him at Major 3 last year. in Texas, and he's a really genuine guy. So shout out to him.
Yeah, I saw that from Ben, and I
haven't
personally,
seen
I'm on
anyone
Twitter
hating
all the
on him.
time. Yeah, me neither. I'm on Twitter all the time, and I've never seen any unnecessary Dill hate. So unless it's like some behind the scenes bullshit going on, I don't know. I think that might have been a little fugazi, a little stretch. But if that's the case, get a grip. Get an absolute grip. Dill has been on many different teams and is always one of their best players and is an absolute great guy. So everyone get a grip.
Absolutely. I don't know what they're talking about, but he's not the guy you hate on. He's not the guy you hate.
No.
All right, boys. I think it's time. We get into the main event of this show. The moment we've been waiting for weeks. Everyone's waiting for. It's time to fill out our pick'ems for the bracket. We're going to go person by person through this and just obviously discuss as we go. Because if we try to do this the same along the whole way, it wouldn't really work because we're going to have differences at some point and our brackets won't be the same. I think I'll go last so I can save my predictions on the Pick'em site, if you don't mind. So if one of you wants to start, feel free to take the lead. Make sure you let me know who you got, and I'll fill it out on the screen for the viewers.
So matchup number 1 is FaZe LAG. LAG has not looked good recently. I thought they would look pretty solid beforehand, but now they're falling off a little bit. But it's the first major, so I don't see the major coming out and starting 3-0. So I'll give LAG a map. I'll go 3-1 FaZe. I don't really know what map it would be, but maybe they win map 1 hardpoint or something. But they look competitive enough to give them a map. So I'll go 3-1 FaZe. Match 2, New York, Minnesota. This might be closer than a lot of people actually might think, because Minnesota in current form looks really good. But I'm not going against New York. They almost had 2 losses this week, which would have been an absolute kick in the back for them. But I don't know how much I'm buying into the MN hype just yet. I'm buying in a little bit because they look better, but I'm not full buying in. So I'll also give them a map. I'll go 3-1 NYSL.
Very nice.
Okay, match 3. Surge Ultra. I'm going 3-0 Toronto. I don't think it will be close. I just said Surge has not impressed me. Toronto has greatly impressed me. I think this might be a blowout series. And I actually think Seattle might get double bounced. But regardless, I got Toronto 3-0. Miami Optic. God. Can we beat this Can we beat this team, please? I'm tired.
Florida's got something on Texas. I don't know what it is.
Can we just beat these guys? Okay, listen. They smoked us. I'm not sugarcoating it. They absolutely ran through us. But, we'll have a week to cool down, reset. It's major time. Anything can happen at the major. So I'll take a scary 5-game series in favor of the guys in green. I think Optic win 3-2. I don't even know what to think, but I'm obviously going for my guys. So I'll go Optic 3-2. Okay.
All right.
Elimination round 1. Which one's first? Here we go. Down here. Rock or Carolina? Carolina, you look better. I just don't think this is your major. And with the way Minnesota has looked as of recent, I think it's only right to give Minnesota the edge here. But I'll give you a couple maps. You took 2 maps off of FaZe. You took 2 maps off of LAT. And I think you take 2 maps off of Minnesota here too. You lose another game 5, which is heartbreaking for you guys. But at least you have some positivity to go into next set, and maybe you can reset and figure out exactly what you need to fix up on. Battle LAG and LAT, Battle of LA. They say history repeats itself. So I should go LAG here. I'm not. I am going to take LAT, and this is against my gut. I probably should go LAG, and they probably will win this series. But they just got to win LAT, so maybe a step in the right direction. I will give them a Game 5 edge, and the only reason I'm doing it is because I think LAG has a severe problem with ice. They lack a ton of ice. They can never clutch up when it's needed. So maybe, just maybe, LAT has it. So I got LAT in a game 5. And I got Heretics, Legion. I got Heretics in a 3-0. I don't think that'll be close. I truly think whoever loses between Optic and Legion 3-0, or Optic and Heretics 3-0 no matter what. So I don't see Legion winning a map this event. It just sucks, but they got some stuff to look forward to, I suppose, but it's just not there for them right now. And then final match of Friday. Boston Surge. This is a banger. This is a banger. I just don't think that there's a way that Boston goes top 12 out of their own event. That home crowd buff is a real thing. It is a real thing. And although it might not be as strong as the Optic home crowd buff, it's still a home crowd buff. So I'll take Boston in a game 5.
Let's go. You got some bangers.
I do. I think it's going to be a crazy major one. I got Boston in a game 5, and I think the crowd will go nuts. Maybe give Boston some energy, and that's good. I want them to make a losers run here. They're too good. They're too talented of a squad to be where they're at right now. Okay, winners round 2. This is scary. This is really scary. If Optic's going to do well at the major, this is a must-win series. This is a must-win series because you just got demoralized by these guys this past week. And now you're playing them on Saturday, winners round 2, after playing a team that just demoralized you as well previously. If Optic lose this series, they probably finish top 6. I'm going to be honest. Optic is historically known for making it to this point and then not winning another series. This just sucks. Like,
hey, they're 10-2 against them in the last 12.
This is so rough because I mean I obviously want to go my guys, but like there's no reason for me to sit here and say, you know what? I went with my Twitter prediction that they're win, so screw it. What's the deal? It's just points. All right, give me Optic in a game 5.
All right. Oh.
Give me Optic in a game 5. They're not going to sweep them. FaZe looks too good. They could win 3-1, but. You know what? Change that. I'm going Optics 3-1.
Damn.
So if it goes game 5, I don't think they win. FaZe has too much ice.
That's fair. That's fair.
So 3-1. That's probably wrong. But you know what? I always have faith in the guys. Call it delusional. Call it riding. How about you hop off sack? Okay. Winners round 2. Ultra Subliners. Wow. Okay. So this just happened again. Absolute rematch bangers, by the way, in winners round here for the top 4. This was also a smoke show. I don't think that'll be the case on LAN. Last time these two met on LAN, it was a smoke show, but a smoke show for the other way for a ring. So last 2 matches between these two teams have not been close for either one of the sides. But you know what?
And the one before that was a 3-0 from Ultra, wasn't it? In the winners finals.
Yes, it was. So
they like to go back and forth. They like to trade them.
So maybe this is NYSL's time. But I'll go Ultra in a game 5. I'll go Ultra game 5. I
don't know though. We're gonna have 99 kids on LAN. He is kind of diffy on LAN, to be fair.
We probably will. And betting against NYSL always just gives me an uneasy feeling in my stomach because they're just a team that's so consistent. But Toronto
did it last week and it worked fine.
Yeah, true. And Toronto's form looks insane right now. So I'll go Toronto game 5. Maybe like a game 5 masterclass from Scrap. Who knows? 5th match Friday, late night. It's LAT Miami. I think this is the LAT train hopping off here. I don't think they beat a Heretics team. I'm sorry, Jake. I just can't see that. I can't see that being the case right now. Their search looks really good and their control looks really good. Do I think it goes a game 5? No, I don't. But I'll give them one of those maps. I don't know if it'll be the search. I don't know if it'll be the control. Probably the control, but Miami also looks really good at control. So, but just out of pity, I'll give them a game. 3-1 Miami. Okay. Breach, Minnesota will start the day. These are always the series you're like, where do I go here, man? Boston doesn't exactly look great. We were just talking about it in the power rankings.
We just put Boston over them in the rankings.
We did, but they were neck and neck, and it's exactly how I think this series is going to be. Dude, whoever wrote the script in this Major 1 bracket, Jesus. Penn is on fire right now. Lots of crazy matchups. Absolutely lots of crazy matchups. Actually, I can't even say that because we have no idea how this is going to go. But if it goes like this, lots of crazy matchups.
You're writing the script right now, actually. Your pen's on fire.
I'll go Boston 3-1. I don't like their S&D, so for their sake, hope it doesn't get to a game 5. But I think they're the better Respawn team right now. So I think they'll probably lose a game 2.
I think Minnesota has won map 1 in every series except for one series so far this year.
Well, they lost map 1 to Optic, so if that series is Optic, then yeah.
I think it might be 1 or 2 series, but I think they're like really good in map 1.
Interesting.
For whatever reason.
I think it ends right there. I thought Boston wins map 1 hard point. You could quote me from right there. Whatever, doesn't matter. Okay. Boston FaZe, sorry home team, your run ends right there. You are not beating that team. 3-0 FaZe. I don't really have to explain much there. You guys made it 2 rounds in starting in losers bracket. That's better than you probably anticipated happening anyways. So not bad. Top 6 from losers round 1. You guys should actually be pretty proud of yourself for that far. Heretics New York. Banger matchup. Banger matchup. Wow. Okay. I kind of hope this happens because this would be gas. Take my Vamos, man. I'm taking Miami.
Oh, I like it.
Upset. New. Is this even considered an upset though? I mean, it would be.
Yeah,
on paper,
it's a slight upset.
Yeah.
But I just like this Miami team a lot, man. Except for when they play Optic. I'll go 3-1 Miami. I'll go 3-1 Miami.
Bold, but I like it.
They're really good at control, which is in their favor, and their respawn pace is insane. So if Lucky/Metals can just slow down Sib, I think they'll be okay. I'll go 3-1 Miami.
They're low-key very similar teams. They both have very fast flex players in Sib and Vickle.
They
like
are
kind of an interesting matchup.
Okay, we're into Sunday, and I think now this year we actually start with the elimination round, right? We start with losers this year. We don't start with the winner match. Okay, all right. FaZe Miami.
It's double points right here, by the way, on the PickEms.
This is double points. It doesn't matter. I probably don't have the right 2 teams here anyway, so it doesn't matter. But you know what? It's been a crazy run, but I think unfortunately this is where it ends for Miami.
He takes his Vamos right back just like that.
I think it ends there. I'd be an absolute lunatic to go against FaZe. I'll go FaZe 3-1. I'll give Miami a map just because I think their teamwork is too good, and they probably counter FaZe actually quite nicely with the pace because both teams are absolutely incredibly paced on the map, so they might counter quite well. But FaZe is FaZe, so I'll go FaZe 3-1. Winners finals. Optic Ultra. It's Optic, so I'm gonna go Toronto here. You know what? It just, it doesn't feel right, but it has to be done. I gotta go with my gut. I think Ultra, Scrap is different in winners finals, man. He is different in winners finals. He's like 2-0, making it to winners finals. So I'll go Ultra 3-2. Win a close series, they win the game 5, ice up game 5. And then we got the E Clasico again for the second time this major. There's no more E Clasico Optic Envy, so this is the new E Clasico. Optic FaZe. Beat them once this tournament already. Beat them again. Same result, 3-1. Then you're in your grand finals. Optic Toronto. Best of 7. This was a rematch of Major 3 last year. I was at that major. It was absolutely heartbreaking. We were so close. Could have been one of the coolest runs ever. And of course, Scrappy just had to do whatever he wanted. That guy. God.
We could only win a control.
If we only could win a control. The good news is we look okay in control this year. So we also choked that Hotel S&D. I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it. Okay. I got Optic. with the against all odds, Major 1 victory. Fan bias, of course. I'm going to. It is what it is.
At least he's honest. You got to give it to him.
Game 7. Absolute. I've had a banger tournament the entire time. I'm ending it with an absolute banger of a series. We could have had Game 7 with these guys last year. I think these two are just two Titan teams that can just absolutely clash with one another. And of course, I'm taking my guys to win it all. I got a Game 7. This is my takes. Is it probably wrong? Yes. But we're locking it in. And this is what I have. There you go. That's my bracket.
Dang. Hey, the perfect bracket is nearly impossible.
Yeah.
It is, in fact, nearly impossible.
Best.
I got some upsets in there. I didn't go with the favorite every single time. You have to have some upsets. You never know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my bracket. And now I'm excited to hear your guys' takes. Thank you for letting me go first. My computer sucks.
You are all good. Let me refresh. And Alex, the floor is yours. Let's hear this.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I have some bangers. Like, I think I have my script right here.
Let's hear it.
My pen was on fire. A lot of matches that you're like, ooh, okay, all right.
LAG 3-0 phase.
Oh god, no! Imagine, dude. Oh my god.
Anything's possible, man.
All right, winners round 1. I'll go in time order, just like Preston did as well. Winners round 1, FaZe versus LAG. I'm not giving LAG a map. I'm going 3-0 FaZe. They've lost back to back. They just haven't looked really good. And I think just FaZe is looking outstanding right now. So I'm gonna give them the map win. FaZe 3-0. Next match is New York and Minnesota. Again, even though Minnesota has looked good their past few matches, I'm gonna give the series to Subliners. I'll give Rocker a map. I'm gonna go 3-1 New York. Pretty self-explanatory. Subliners, I think they're a little different on land. And Rocker, yes, again, as I said, they look really kind of good at the end of the season or at the end of the qualifier. So I'll give them a map. What's next? Ultra and Surge. I'm going same as Preston, 3-0 for Toronto. I don't think Surge gets a map on them. Toronto just looks absolutely disgusting right now. But Surge has not impressed me in the slightest way these past few weeks. And then we have our matchup. Again, last match of the day, Cheese, as always. I'm taking Optic in a Game 5. I think they come out. I think they start off a little slow, but it's land, so they'll pick it up a lot quicker. I think they win 3-2 for that. And then we move on to elimination round 1. Battle of LA. Thieves and Gorillas. I think this is where Thieves say bye-bye.
Say bye-bye? We didn't even say hi yet.
I think this is where they say bye-bye. History tends to repeat itself, and unfortunately, LAG has just owned LA Thieves in the past. For a while now. So I'm going LAG 3-1. I think they get a little redemption. I think Thieves take one map at least. But yeah, I don't think it's pretty, honestly. Sorry, that wasn't the first match, but it's fine. The first match is actually Minnesota and Ravens. I have Minnesota winning that 3-1. Again, I just think I think the fact that they don't have that much practice with Fellow, and the fact that they're also still going to be playing with Tej, unfortunately, I think Brian Saint said that Tej is going to be with them for Major 1. Mm-hmm. I think that's just going to ruin them a little bit. So I'm going to go with Rocker 3-1. I think Carolina's going to say bye-bye without even saying hi. Next match is Miami and Vegas. Again, I have Miami as same as Preston. Miami 3-0. I unfortunately don't think, as Preston said, whoever loses from that Miami Optic series I think Vegas is not going to win, unfortunately, that series. They may win a map, but I don't think they'll win that series. So I'm going Miami again 3-0. Now, this one. Surge and Breach. Just because I have more faith in Surge than I do Boston, I'm going Seattle 3-2.
Let's go.
I'm going Seattle 3-2. I'm having Boston bounce first round. Yes, I just put them over Surge in our power rankings, but I think because, again, as we stated, one of the biggest things, if Boston can put their S&D together, they'll be a great team. But right now, they just don't have it together. So, and I'm going to put Surge. Their S&D looks a little bit better than Boston. So, because of that, I have it going Game 5. But I have Surge eventually securing that.
Don't believe in the whole crowd buff, huh?
Sometimes it's just not enough. Elimination round 2. Again, Friday, Friday, it's our last match. LAG versus Heretics. I have, again, LAG just beat, Miami just beat LAG this weekend, 3-0. I have them beating LAG again, 3-0. I don't think LAG is going to win a map off them. Pretty self-explanatory. I think just Miami played a lot better, and I think they'll play a lot better on land as well when they go against them. We are on to winners round 2. FaZe and Optic. I have this going Game 5 in favor of FaZe. I do have FaZe winning against us. It's tough. I have them winning against us, but it is what it is. I think there's a little something later on that will make a lot more people happy. And then another elimination round 2 match, which I forgot to say was just going to be the first match on Saturday. Surge versus Rocker. Again, Seattle just played Minnesota this weekend. Rocker ended up winning Game 5. I have Game 5 going to Surge now instead of Rocker.
He's got the Surge run. Let's go.
I have Surge winning, getting their revenge. Game 5 against Rocker in elimination round 2. After that, again, it's Optic versus FaZe. I said FaZe would win 3-2. After that one, it is Toronto and Subliners. I'm the same with Preston on this one. I have Toronto winning Game 5, though. I don't think it'll be as close as it was online. I think New York is a really good LAN team, and they've shown it in the past. So I think it'll be a lot closer, but I think Toronto ended up pulling away at the end. After that, we have elimination round 3. This is where it gets spicy. Optic, Surge, Illy versus Optic, Hook versus Optic, back on land. I have Optic winning 3-1. I think this is where Surge says bye-bye. But I think that storyline of Surge versus Optic, old teammates again, playing against each other, I think that'll be a good one. But again, I have Optic winning 3-1. After that, we have Subliners versus Heretics. I have Subliners winning 3-2. I think it'll be a good match. But I think just that experience of playing on LAN and playing together, and I just think Sib is way too nasty right now. And Hydra's way too nasty right now as well. They'll end up taking it. It'll definitely be a close game. But I think I have New York winning 3-2 over Miami. What are we on to next? We are on to winners finals. Sunday. Bang bang day. We first have elimination round 4. Subliners versus Optic. Rematch of our first game against the Subliners. I have Optic winning Game 5. They took it from us online, Game 5, but I have us getting our revenge and winning that series 3-2 against Subliners. After that, it'll be winners final, FaZe versus Ultra. I have this going Game 5 as well. I have FaZe winning 3-2. And yeah, they're both great teams. They're definitely 1 and 2 right now, but I think Surge are just a little bit better. Surge, I'm tripping. FaZe. I think FaZe is a little bit better right now. So I have them winning 3-2. Next one will be Optic versus Toronto. Elimination finals. I have another Game 5. I have Optic winning 3-2. I think this is going to be a loser's bracket run for the boys.
Optic looking icy in your bracket.
Yeah, I think the boys are going to clutch up. They're going to show out for this last day. And finally, our main event, Grand Finals, best of 7, FaZe versus Optic, the Classico. I mean, what more can you want, right? I have the boys winning 4-2. I don't think it'll go last map. I think it'll end 4-2. And yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say. I think the boys are going to take it. I think they're going to be on a hell of a losers run and carry that momentum into Grand Finals. Now, yes, given finals are, it's a lot different now for Grand Finals. You know, you can't just carry that momentum straight from losers bracket, but I think they'll have enough momentum to carry them over into Grand Finals and win over FaZe 4-2. Locking that in right now. Cannot make any modifications. Oh well, submitting my brackets.
Very nice. Yeah, you got Optic looking hella icy on LAN.
What can I say?
Hella icy.
A lot of rematches too. You know, Optic versus Surge, Surge versus Rocker, LAG versus Miami, New York versus Optic. A lot of rematches that we get our lick back for those L's online.
Hell yeah. All right, time for my bracket. I'll try to do this in time order. Hopefully I don't mess it up. FaZe Gorillas, I'm going 3-0. I mean, I just think FaZe are kind of, they're nasty. And Gorillas look a little down right now. Then we come on over to Subliners Rocker. I'm going 3-1 Subliners. I think Minnesota is good enough to take a map off of them, maybe. I could see this being a 3-0 as well. Minnesota proved me very wrong so far this season after that second week. So I want to at least give them a little bit of respect and give them a map versus the Subliners on LAN. Then we are going to Ultra Seattle. I'm going 3-0 Ultra. I think they're just insane. And kind of like what Preston said, I don't see the slaying power from Seattle. And Ultra are a team you need slaying power to beat. They are one of the best at it. They're one of the best in the game at it, right? Kleenex and Scrap are 1 and 2 in Slayer rating right now in the league. So you need to slay if you're going to beat those guys. And I do not think Seattle has what it takes. Then we get into the match everyone's going to be watching. I'm going Miami 3-1. I can see Optic winning this. I hope Optic wins it for the sake of you boys, for the sake of the green wall. It's more fun when Optic wins. But Miami just absolutely choke-slammed Optic. I know it was online, but it wasn't really close in any of those maps. So I'm giving it to Miami. Maybe Optic can prove me wrong. We'll wait and see. Then we move on down to the elimination rounds. Let's start it off. Minnesota versus Ravens at 12:30. Carolina, they found a little bit of footing. But like I just said, I got to put some respect on Minnesota, so I'm giving them the 3-2 over Ravens. We'll see. I'm excited to see Gwyn and Linz on LAN. I think that rookie battle on LAN is going to be really, really fun to watch. I do have Gwyn over Linz in Rookie of the Year, but I think the Rocker are just a better team at this moment, especially in current form. Then we come into the 2 o'clock match, the Battle of LA. A little bit of bias showing. I'm going 3-2 Thieves. I say it every time. I should never take Thieves over LAG because we can't beat them. But we showed a little bit of fight versus Ravens. LAG look a little bit worse right now. I don't know. It's just really the bias talking there. I'm giving it to us on LAN. So yeah, that's really all it is there. Then at 3:30, Optic versus Legion. I got Optic 3-1. I honestly think Legion can win the SND. Optic haven't looked that good in SND, and Legion, that's their best game mode. So we did see them win 2 off of Optic online. I think they can at least win 1, but I think either way, Optic is winning this series pretty much no matter what. Then the last Elim round 1 is Seattle versus Boston, and I'm going with the home crowd buff. I'm giving Boston the 3-1. Seattle beat Boston online, but I just think Boston looks pretty good. They play up to their competition. And yeah, home crown buff. I think they can get it done. Slasher Priest on LAN. Not much else you need to really say about that. Then the last game on Friday is LAT versus Optic Texas in Elim round 2. I think this is an absolute banger in the making. And I think I gotta back my boy. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh,
Listen, I would love us to win this. We are pretty good against Optic, but this is not nearly the same team it once was. Maybe we can win the Surge, so I'm gonna be nice and give us 1, but I genuinely think we could get swept by Optic on LAN. But I'm gonna go 3-1. So maybe there's that's a little bit of bias giving us the match.
The Kenny come home match right there.
Oh, dude, he's gonna piss on us. All right, then we move into Saturday, Boston versus Rocker. I mean, I've been saying that I need to put respect on Rocker, but I'm giving Boston a 3-2. Once again, home crowd buff. I think for Rocker, we haven't, I mean, you know, Vivid hasn't really had much success on LAN. Linz is obviously a rookie. Awakening hasn't really had much success on LAN. Obviously, Accuracy has, but he's not really your star player. I just don't know if they have what it takes really to take down Boston, especially with the home crowd behind them. But they're going to prove me wrong now that I said that. So everyone else who's listening, switch your predictions now because Minnesota likes to go against what I say. Then we come into winners round 2. We got FaZe versus Heretics. I honestly think this is going to be a close series. I'm still going the way of FaZe 3-2, but something about this Heretics team, they're just good at every game mode, similarly to FaZe. And I think they could, you know, maybe get a hard point and control off of FaZe, but FaZe is so good at SND, I just think they would take it in a game 5. Yeah, not much else to be said about that. It's still FaZe at the end of the day. Then we have Ultra Subliners, as all of us have had. I'm going to go Toronto Ultra 3-2. I just, you know, NYSL great at SND. They only have 1 loss, and it's against Toronto. But I think they can probably lose another couple against Toronto again here. It's just, I think it's just the recency bias, if you want to call it that. I mean, they slammed them. Like, that was the worst 3-0 we've seen all year. So I'm going to go the way of Toronto over NYSL. Then we got Miami versus Boston, Elim round 3 at 5 o'clock on Saturday. I think this is probably where it ends for Boston. They did what they could, but I think they get swept 3-0 by Miami. I just think Miami are better at every single game mode than Boston is. And the home crowd buff can only last so long. They started out the day with the win over Rocker, but by that time they're tired, maybe they're a little cold, and it just doesn't work out for them by the end of the day. And then Optic versus Subliners, Elim round 3. This one, I went back and forth. I really did. I went back and forth on this one. I think what it comes down to is NYSL are a much better SND team than Optic. I think NYSL takes this 3-2. I actually had Optic 3-2 originally in my pick'ems when I wrote this down before we started recording. And then I rethought myself and changed it. I just think, I mean, it's partly the SND. I think they can split respawns because they're both good at the respawns. I think Optic's a better control team. I got to lean the way of the 1 loss for New York and SND compared to Optic's like 4 or 5, however many they have at this point. So sorry, Greenwall.
That's tough. Go out top 6.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like we said earlier, Kenny's teams get better later in the year. If this was Major 3, I think I would go the way of Optic just because of my guy Ken. But for now, I'm going NYSL. And then we move into Sunday. So we have the Elim match first, New York versus Miami. I think this could go either way. I'm going to go New York 3-2, pretty much similarly to what I just said against Optic. I think New York are just a better SND team. And on LAN, I mean, Kismet has been their most underwhelming player this year online. He's one of the better players on LAN. I think that buff really helps them come out over Miami here. But I do think that could be close. Then we have Toronto versus FaZe. And I'm going Toronto. I'm going to go Toronto here, 3-2 over FaZe. I think we're going to see a little bit that FaZe are human throughout this major, having some close series, losing here against Toronto. They're not going to win every series this entire year. It's just not going to happen. And like I said earlier, I think Toronto are a great team to match up against FaZe. I think in current form, they might be the best current team. And just slaying-wise, Toronto, honestly, I think is a better slaying team than FaZe at this moment. So I'm going 3-2. Then we have New York FaZe in the Elim finals. I'm gonna go FaZe 3-1. They're just better, I think, in every game mode. Maybe you could say NYSL is a little bit better in SND based on records, but even at that, I still think FaZe are probably better in every mode. So I'm going FaZe, and then it sets up for a little rematch in the finals, Ultra versus FaZe. And this time around, I don't think you're stopping Celium. I think this guy's dropping a 1.6 on Toronto's head in the finals, and I'm giving it to I don't know 1.6 actually, but I'm going FaZe 4-2. I think Toronto can win a couple maps, but dude, I don't know, bro. These guys, FaZe, are pretty different. This guy, Celium, nearly has a 1.3 in Major 1 qualifiers. Every single year, his KD goes up somehow, which doesn't make any sense. And I think Cell gets himself a nice little finals MVP, even though I have Simp as my current season MVP. But yeah, that's kind of what I got. I'm sorry to the Optic fans, but you know, I think you get better throughout the year.
You're gonna get some hate, Jake.
It's all good, man. It's expected. Listen, my team is barely gonna make it out of the first round if I'm lucky. So
you got some respect for the Optic fans for taking Optic over your team. That's typical.
I mean, if this was last year, see you guys later. But this is not that team. This is not that team. But yeah, that is what we got for our pick'ems for everyone at home. Let us know who you guys have in the grand finals and taking it in the comments, because I'm curious. I've seen a lot of FaZe. I've seen a lot of Toronto. Seen a few NYSL. I haven't seen as many Optic as I thought I would. But I mean, other than that, I don't really see any dark horses other than maybe Miami, who, if you could even consider them a dark horse.
True.
These are our predictions, okay? We would love to hear your predictions, but do not come at our necks for our predictions, okay? If you disagree, that's fine. That's what makes it an opinion. That's what makes it a prediction. Nobody knows what's going to happen until it gets played out. You can have your own bracket. This is what we feel. There's some bias included. Obviously, there's going to be. But we'd love to hear your thoughts. Just don't cook us for our prediction. Just give us yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, the differences in opinion is my favorite thing about this type of stuff, right? Like, that's the fun part about sports and esports is you're never going to agree with everybody. Sometimes you're not even going to agree with the majority. And it makes it fun, man. It's just the disrespect that I see from people on Twitter and comments and stuff like that. It's like, listen, man, if I have FaZe winning and you hate FaZe, like, don't come at me because I have FaZe winning. Like, it's not that deep at the end of the day. We're watching people play Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, have fun with it. If your team loses, they lose. It ain't the end of the world. But yeah, I mean, we can end it off with a community question or two if you guys want, just to, you know, keep it going each episode, because I think the community deserves it. We've gotten a lot of great questions, so I think we can end it off with one or two of these.
Yeah.
And we can start off with this one because it kind of goes off of everything we just talked about, predicting Major 1. But Dylan I can't talk. Dylan R T2P is his Twitter handle. He said, or he asked, what are the odds we see a non-repeating world champion this year? No FaZe, no New York, no LA Thieves. And then he said, and besides Optic, who would be most likely to win champs this year?
Oh,
So
I mean, Toronto. Oh, yeah.
It's got to be Toronto, right?
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, if you say non-repeat, does Dill count?
I mean, I guess the franchise hasn't won, so I guess it doesn't count.
Okay, so if it's just franchise, I mean, technically Optic hasn't won a ring.
He said besides Optic. It's probably because he's an Optic fan and everyone likes Optic.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, most likely it's Toronto. I mean, they're disgusting. I mean, I don't think it'd be anybody else but them.
Not only are they disgusting, but they're due, right? They've been to 2 grand finals in the 5 years of the CDL. Wait, 4 or 5, whatever it is.
Yeah, we're in year 5 now.
Even more, okay, so even more impressive. 50% of the time they're in grand finals of champs, and they have no rings. So, statistically speaking, Toronto's the team that has the best chance. If we're not going Optic, I'm saying take my Vamos, a little Spanish ring. Get some more Europeans their rings, and you know, Hydra was the first one last year, right? Nobody's done it before.
Yeah.
So maybe Vamos, because those guys' teamwork is godlike, and if it gets better and better as the year goes on, who knows what happens. Those guys are nasty, and I've seen way too many people think that they're not as good as they are this past weekend in particular. But I think that's more at the just because they despise Optic more than they don't like the Heretics. But it's all good. That's my pick.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, outside of FaZe, Optic, and Subliners, I mean, yeah, Toronto and Miami are probably the best picks that we have. I mean, unless like Vegas turn up all of a sudden, they're absolutely godlike.
Or Carolina or Boston.
They just slam everyone 3-0, nonstop 250-0, 6-0, 3-0. But yeah, I think it'll be Toronto or Miami.
Definitely most likely. Another question here. This isn't necessarily a question, but it's a topic. I'm going to butcher this person's name. This was from YouTube. Shafia Leno. I literally couldn't tell you how to say this, but sure. Shafia, there you go. They said, and this is what the comment said. Talk about Pred and Shotzi's sub-duo dynamic, because out of the top 4 teams and pretty much the whole league, they as a duo have been quite poor. Not necessarily talent, more so how they coordinate with each other. They are hardly in position to double chow or trade at times. And as resident Optic fans, we'll start out with you guys. How do you feel about the Pred Shotzi duo? Obviously outside of talent, just in the way you think they kind of play together.
I think out of the top sub duos, given Simp and Abizi, they've been together for quite a while now. I mean, if you look at NYSL last year when Hydra and Kismet started out, I'm pretty sure didn't like NYSL start out like 0-4. Like it took them a while to get used to everything.
Yeah, they didn't start out good,
I just think, and given Hook and Shotzi last year when Hook came in, it was like automatic, but it's because they've played together. They played on Dallas. They played for NW 2019 and Cold War. They played together, so they already have some type of chemistry. I just think it's gonna take them a while. It's 2 new sub duos. They're both really aggressive sub duos. Pred is more so of I'm in your face. I'm gonna just run around and get the kills. And Shotzi, this is all my opinion, by the way. Shotzi is more of I'm a hit the routes and get behind you type sub duo, and I think that's where some people are like, why aren't they in place with each other? But I mean, like you hear them talk about it constantly. Like Pred even said, and I don't know if it was in a live stream or if it was in a podcast or whatever it was, but he said playing with Shotzi is like the best thing he's ever, or it's like 1 and 2. Like he loves how Shotzi plays because it fits his play style really well. I just think it's going to take some time. We're at the beginning of the season. I think later on, if they're still having some problems, then I guess we can start having that conversation. But right now, a bunch of the sub duos, other than probably like the bottom 6 teams, haven't been together so long. But like the top 4 teams, Kismet and Hydra, they've already been together for a season. Dill and Kleenex. I mean, this is their first season together, so maybe you can compare it to that. Whereas Shotzi and Pred aren't playing how they're playing or playing well as well as they're playing. But I just think it's just going to take them some time. It's going to take them some time. I just think like I said, give it some time. They'll eventually get there. But a lot of the sub duos that they have right now that are in the top 4 have already played together. They know how to play already. With this being a new sub duo, like I said, it's going to take them a while. Later on, if they're still playing in that same caliber and they're not on the same page, yes, we can start having that conversation about maybe this wasn't such a good pick for the team. But right now, it's the beginning of the season. I don't want to say anything too early. I don't want to overreact too early, and I think that's what people are doing. I know I saw a lot of people saying that Hook was a better duo for Shotzi than Pred is. Again, it's the beginning of the season. They're going to have some hiccups. I mean, as we've seen right now, the whole team is basically just challenging one-on-one. We're rarely ever challenging together. So I think it's more so of a team dynamic that they need to fix rather than just a sub-duo dynamic.
Yeah, right. Like you emphasized, it's super, super early. And their play styles are entirely different from one another. So in terms of them building some sub chemistry, it's going to take a little bit of time. You're not just going to throw them together and they're going to be baiting for one another. They're going to be right next to each other, hand in hand, shake and bake type thing. It's going to take a little bit to build that in-game chemistry between two subs. They say a lot of people or a lot of subs should be built off of pacing. I agree to an extent, but at the same time, I'm also a very firm believer that if you take two individually talented submachine gun players and throw them together, they should find a way to make it work. There's no reason that these two players cannot make it work. I just think right now there's a pacing issue. Shotzzy is more of a entry, go take routes, go get rotations, take a lane and make a play movement, whereas Pred is pre-aim around a corner, take as many gunfights as you can because you're winning 85% of them type of player. They're different, right? One's a slayer, one's more of a entry man, route taker, yada yada yada. And Alex said it right. The top 4 teams have a sub duo that the other teams have a sub duo that have been playing together besides Toronto. However, I think Toronto is a bit of a different situation because Hixie and Envoy are practically the same player. Envoy is just Hixie, but better. So it was more than likely a very easy transfer for Toronto to bring in Envoy and just fill him into that system, substituting for Hixie, versus Hook and Pred, where they are not the same player at all. Hook is insanely fast. Hook is practically like Shotzzy, just probably a little less talented than Shotzzy. So it's not like the same fill-in as well. It's going to take some time. And for people saying that Hook is a better fit for Ant, it's hard to say, right? You can't really judge it yet because we've seen them play 7 matches together. You got to give it more time to have a more fair opinion ground to base it off of. But they've been teammates for years, right? So it's when he came back and played with Ant, it was just a super easy transition for him because they were teammates for 2 years before that. So it's like I said, it's a time thing. It's a time thing. You throw players together, it's going to take a little time for them. Your instant chemistry is almost never a thing. It's almost never a thing. So give them time. It's too early to say whether or not they are not going to work out. And I am a firm believer that 2 individually talented submachine gun players can make it work no matter what their specific rule is.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what D-Real said on his podcast with Sib, was like, people were doubting if Sib would fit in their system, and D-Real was like, you're a professional player, you know how to play Call of Duty, you know the fundamentals, like, you can fit into anything because you are a really good COD player. So I definitely totally agree with that. I do think the one thing that I've noticed in my time watching COD is the elite sub duos typically have one guy who is willing to throw his life away, every single life, no matter what, every time. You got guys like Kleenex, you got guys like Abizi. You can think of other guys like Vivid and Nero who aren't obviously top sub duos, but those players enable their secondary sub to slay out, to get those trades, to pop those 2 pieces because people are already weak. They're not shooting at them because they're shooting at that entry. And I think neither Shotzzy or Pred are really that guy. They definitely can be, but both of them will play their life a lot, which isn't a bad thing, right? Because playing your life is important. Getting like non-traded kills is important. And I'm not saying it's not going to work because they don't have one of those play styles, but I do think like Pred is more of a, I'm going to sit in this corner and I'm going to preempt this angle because when you run into me, I'm going to kill all 3 of you because that's how good I am. And Shotzi's more, I'm going to find that route. Like he nearly got behind them on Palace P5. That blew my mind, by the way. I just think if one of them was just like, head through a wall, I'm going to bang in here, you just follow me, I think they could be really, really good. And I definitely think Pred could literally be that guy because that dude's gunny is insane. But that's just not what we've seen. I mean, Pred is young into the league, right? He's only ever sub-duoed with Mac at this point. And Mac was a guy who was literally willing to have a 0.7 all year because Pred was going to have a 1.2. Did it work out? I mean, a little bit. I guess they got 1 major. But, like, at the end of the day, I think playstyles matter to an extent. But, like, we just all said, that talent will fit. They'll figure it out. It's early in the year. It's literally hasn't played on LAN yet together. By Major 2, these guys could look like the greatest sub duo of all time. So, like, I mean, that might be a stretch, but you know what I mean. Like, anything is possible with the ceiling those two players have individually. So, I see what people are saying and what this person was saying about play styles, but I think they're going to figure it out.
Yeah, it's too early. But one thing I do want to bring up, people were going crazy over that Shotzi play because they were like, "Why didn't he kill Cell?"
It was kind of smart.
It's pretty simple. I mean, why are you going to kill someone that's not on hill and risk getting called out to the person that is on hill when you would much? I mean, props to Cell because he made a crazy read. I don't know how he read that, but I mean, I'm pretty sure Shotzi's game plan was let me get in hill, challenge this person that's in hill, and then turn around and challenge Shell, who I know is going to be coming from this doorway. So I think that's what his game plan. I know I saw a lot of people were like, did Shotzi not see him? What was Shotzi doing? I'm like 99% sure that's what Shotzi's game plan was to get in that hill, get the kill, and then turn around and hopefully get the kill on Cell.
Oh yeah, it was 100% purposeful. He 100% saw him, and that's a kill for Shotzi 10 out of 10 times that he wants to take the kill. His main goal there is they have 10 seconds to make a play to break the hardest hill in the game to break, which is no longer a hill, by the way, but it is for the next week. But his thought process the entire time is, this guy means absolutely nothing to me. If I could get behind him without him realizing that I got behind him, I now have a 1v1 or 1v2 in hill versus me killing him for free and them knowing that I'm already up here taking a 1v3, that they're already aware that I'm here. If he gets past Cell and goes and gets a free kill in hill, then he actually has a 1v1 gunfight in hill for time. Who knows what happens? He can win two gunfights back to back. If he gets past Cell, that's a crazy read by Cell. By the way, that is an insane read because he really has Daddy on.
I want to hear the comms. I hope FaZe releases it.
I genuinely think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Ant YYs for like a half second, and I'm not 100% positive, but I think he YYs preparing for a gunfight towards hill, and Cell probably hears the switching of the weapons, which is how he knows he's behind it, because Ant has Ant has a dead silence on 100%.
Yeah.
You can't hear his footsteps. The footsteps are dead silent. So unless he just gets God timing, and it's just like, let's just check our back. There's no sense on me challenging front anymore because they can't get there, so I'll just check our back. Or, I'm not sure if he YYs or not, but in the moment, I thought he YY'd. I haven't seen the clip since.
Yeah.
But you can hear weapons. You can hear weapon swapping. You can't hear footsteps.
Oh,
so
very clearly in this game, yeah.
So, I mean, anyway, we're on a what if anyways, because he might go into hill and get killed right away anyway. It would have been a crazy play if it worked. But that's a major if, and it didn't work, and they lost.
GG, chalk it up. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's
if that was the first rotation of hills and they weren't 10 seconds away from winning the game, he just kills Cell there and then Optic try to break. But because they had no time, if he gets on hill and he gets that kill, Cellium then has to turn and look away from what he's holding, and then his teammates can push up and they might be able to break that. But he genuinely almost made one of the craziest plays I've ever seen. I was mind blown when I saw him get somehow past Simp and then up the stairs past Cell. I was like, there's no shot he's going to get through.
There's people that actually just watch and don't play the game. That is genuinely one of the hardest hills in Call of Duty history to break. There are so many angles that the team that has full possession of can hold, and you are practically flooding 3 lanes, right? You have a giant mid-courtyard that you can see practically all of it from top sandbags. You can't hide behind any of it. The only chance you have of hiding is if you hide behind the dark trash can, and then you can't even shoot anybody. You can't shoot, so you're out of the fight regardless. So practically take away mid-courtyard. You have an A street that's behind a giant tank that is also visible to top sandbags, and then you got a B street past ice cream that is visible to window and hill, a head glitch next to hill, and you got to go underneath to go up through stairs on palace to even try to get to the hill or do a window jump up which is just free bait because you're mantling in a window. So the chances of you getting through that hill and breaking that hill are very slim. It's the least broken hill in the game right now. It's like 90% of the time the team that has it holds it. He almost made an insane play. That would have been a crazy solo play. Because if he gets in and contests 5 seconds, that's probably enough time for his team to push up through sandbags and get there to help him out. But, you know, that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. And that's no longer a hill. So rotations are new come Major 2.
Thank God.
And practically, unless you're holding it for P1, P4, sandbags is useless now. So.
Praise be.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Well, I think that's a great way to end it. I don't even know how long we've been going at this point because we obviously had to restart the recording. But we're pushing probably easily our longest episode. So if anyone's still listening, we appreciate it a ton. It's absolutely goated out of you. But yeah, boys, Major 1 is here in 3 days. 3 days. Any final words, or is it just let's go Optic?
You know, I appreciate, again, I'm always say this, I appreciate everyone for the love and support. Whoever watches the video, shares it, comments, likes, whatever it is you do, I appreciate all that. But yeah, I mean, Majors in 3 days. Hope for some good LAN COD. A lot of, you know, excitement going into the first Major. So let's just hope it's a banger of a Major, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, first Major, one of the best times of the year. Everybody's excited because you have an idea who the teams that are good, right? But you genuinely have no idea what's going to happen because some teams are good on LAN and not as good online, and vice versa. Some teams are good online and not as good as LAN. You know, we saw that last year, but I digress. You know, all I'm going to say is everybody have fun, enjoy the matches. I'll be excited to come back post-Major and talk about thoughts for Major 2 with more than likely roster mania.
Yes.
There's going to be some teams that make some changes, and if there isn't, I'm stunned. So, yeah, I'll be excited to come back. Thank you all for listening to this very long episode. Let us know your thoughts below because I'm genuinely curious what you guys think. Who's going to win? Who maybe like a dark horse? Just let me know your general thoughts on the on the Major, and as always, go Optic.
Absolutely. Thank you everyone for listening. Remember, think thieves as you go to bed tonight. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you all in the next episode.
Peace.